I have to say, I do agree with that, because I know that when I was playing as my OC, it was very much... I waited until I found the style that I felt most suited him, because I went with the wolf, because it was the design that I liked the most of the batch.
Fair enough.
And... yeah, I basically ended up making him look like you would expect my original character to look like, i.e. shoving a pair of glasses on him, and then putting him in a shirt. And actually, it worked out quite well. And I didn't really change his design after that, because none of the other outfits really meshed well for me. But also, yay, we get to fight against Infinite, and...
oh, it's Infinite's theme, which isn't even in the game fully!
Yeah, but I do love Infinite's theme so much. It is such a blatant, like, fucking Linkin Park thing they're going for. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't go all the way through with the self-awareness thing, because it really, on the run-up to release, it seemed like they were going down that route, and then they played it straight.
I don't know, I think this is one of them things where it's open to interpretation a little bit, because, like... even if they are trying to play it straight, it's such a silly concept, the way he speaks, like, all these little lines of, like, just over-the-top edge. Even if they're doing that straight, it's so silly naturally, like,
yeah.
You can't take it seriously.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. There's more levity in Forces than there ever was in 06, so it's nowhere near Methodist the Dark. I love Infinite. He's not handled well story-wise, but I like his design. I love his voice. Liam O'Brien voices him, by the way. And his first two boss fights are decent.
I like this boss most of all. Like, surprisingly, given it looks like a reskin of a Lost World level. Like, even to the point where we'll find some of them fucking, you know, the big, like, springs that are completely automated. But yeah, this is actually a really easy boss too if you clock onto what you're meant to do, because the trick is to always stay in line with him. Because sort of like I was saying in the Zavok boss, like the homing attack is a little bit off in this game, so you do need to be prepared ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not as lenient as it is in, like, say, Generations or Colours or whatever. But, you know, once you realise what you're meant to be doing, like, you can take him down, no trouble.
Now, you say that, I actually had a bit of grief with Infinite here, and while I was trying to stay in line with him, I annoyingly ended up getting caught in his red squares that basically completely bugger you up, because they put you in a much more challenging variant of the level and put loads of hazards in your way, and you basically just die almost immediately upon hitting those. So,
well, that sounds like a you problem, Rich, to be quite frank.
I mean, yes, it most likely was a me problem, but it didn't make me like this boss fight any more than that, because I just got frustrated, because it was just like,
it's
can it
hard.
just be over now, please?
I think I actually hit him an extra time because we weren't at the trigger point to finish the level yet.
I think you might have, yeah.
There we go. Infinite. Not even 2 minutes.
Basically.
Unlike mechs, I can grow. I get more powerful every second.
He's the ultimate life form. He has Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, but he's not the cool ultimate life form, so it's like it.
Oh, Shadow. There's another person not really handled well by the story, but the story is probably the weakest part. I'm going to be honest with you, there's so much more they could have done. The gameplay's fine to me, like quibbles with classic Sonic. We stop moaning, like, that's all you do these days, HellfireComms. You moan and whine and never give Sonic games a chance. So it's okay, you can speak now, like,
Yes.
I was done.
I would say that... I wouldn't say that the story is the game's weakest part. It's certainly weak-ish. I would say, if anything, it's the physics that are probably the weakest part of the game, actually. It's obviously much more of a noticeable problem in the classic Sonic stages, but even in modern Sonic and in the Avatar stages, there's just something that feels slightly weird about the way they play. And it's a very difficult thing to actually quantify, because when you play Sonic Unleashed, yes, Sonic feels very slippery, but it still feels fun and satisfying to play. When you play Generations, that was probably the best modern Sonic has ever felt.
Yes, yeah.
And that was because there was a bit of weight to him, but also he just moved really nicely, and that just isn't the case here. Obviously, there's the whole thing with classic Sonic of how he works in this game, but I would say they should have just taken the physics from Generations, because while obviously not full-on classic Sonic physics, that was good enough.
I don't think that's how game development works, honestly. Feel free to prove me wrong, but I'm sure they have to do some fine-tuning, even if they do just copy and paste.
Oh, well, yeah, they will do some fine-tuning, but you can definitely, if you've already got code in terms of how something works, then you can definitely replicate it.
Oh boy,
when you're
Green
moving
Hill.
into this sort of stuff. And yay, Green Hill again.
Goody, Green Hill. So hyped for more Green Hill.
There's so much Green Hill, they included it twice in the title of the fucking level.
Oh, I love it. But like, I will say this was one of the first levels we saw of Classic, and it really left a bad impression because this level design is not good. It's very stop and start, and yeah, it's especially coming after Mania, which had its own Green Hill, which was an actual classic Sonic level and not this fucking blocky mess. You know, it's really underwhelming.
Again, HellfireComms, I've got to call you out and say you're not being fair here. Just because the levels look like they're made out of blocks, that's not fair to say it has blocky level design.
This is fucking Colours level design, I'm sorry. It just is.
Well, yes, but here's the problem. While Colours was blocky, its level designs were actually, like its levels were actually decent for the most part, because the game was structured around them being that way. And while it was probably should not have necessarily been a 3D Sonic game, because so much of it was 2D, the whole point of it worked in that respect, and a lot of the levels had fun and interesting gimmicks. Obviously there were some that were actually really annoying, but for the most part they had interesting gimmicks associated with them, so even though each of the levels was blocky, they worked.
I kind of agree for the most part, but I also think you might want to go back and replay Colours, because I replayed it not too long ago, and the level design, it isn't as good as I remembered it being. Like, that's not a huge knock against the game, because it has enough redeeming it that it's still like one of my favourite Sonic games. But like, it did seem to be like the indicative game for this trend of levels being quite stop and start and like jumping across slow blocks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. I love Colours though. I will say one advantage Colours has over Forces Right Away is level tropes, level themes. Because you have
definitely.
You have like city, you have chemical plant, or just like plant in general, factory basically, space station, forest, jungle and forest, and that's about it until you get to the final zone, which again you could like call scrap brain or whatever.
Yeah, it's frustrating because once again there was promise here, but even though there are levels that do have different feels to them, they all fall into this slightly decrepit world with destruction going on around it feel, and it's just like, I was about to get quite excited, and then you just sort of didn't quite manage to pull it off, because they do just end up blending into each other, and while that makes sense from a story perspective, Sonic is at the end of the day a platforming game, and most platformers tend to live or die by the variety of their levels. And I mean, the thing that I think affected Sonic Forces most badly is the fact that it came out so close to Super Mario Odyssey, which on the whole has been...
I don't know.
No.
Obviously different fan bases, but in the general perception of gaming, Super Mario Odyssey manages to do its level tropes and themes very well, and is a very brilliant game in my opinion. And Forces is much blander in comparison and suffers for it. But also, to be fair, in terms of sales, Forces has bombed, while Odyssey has actually sold and is selling Switches like 1-0.
Yeah. I was actually really surprised to see that it flopped in Japan. Like, it's not doing well in the sales charts at all.
Well, to be fair, like, Sonic has basically always done horribly in Japan. Like,
Yeah.
At least 3D Sonic, to my knowledge. But I think at the time of recording this, it's still less than 5,000 sales, I believe.
Jeez.
Which, like, I think last game I remember doing that horribly, like, in the opening week was probably Black Knight. I remember hearing that was, like, around the 1,000 mark. Like, yeah, that's the point where I'm surprised they even bother trying to keep a market over there, honestly. When they're the sort of figures you're working with. Like, I will say, I disagree with Richie's, like, inherent comparisons to Odyssey in the fact that I think they're such radically different takes on the platformer that
Definitely.
I don't think that you're going to compare them directly. But in terms of sales, I think coming out at the same time as Odyssey did hurt. Because, like, if people are going to buy a game of the new releases, they're probably going to go for Odyssey, because it's the one that looked like it had the most promise overall.
So yeah, the Egg Dragoon, fresh out of Unleashed and Generations. Oh, it's piss easy.
It is. It's kind of underwhelming, given that, like, the Egg Dragoon's, like, my favourite Unleashed boss, and now he's basically no harder than the fucking swinging wheel boss. But yeah, it's basically just to wait for him to throw the things and either spin dash or drop dash into him and knock him back, and that is literally the boss. I think you're taking longer here than I did, but hey.
Yeah, well, I'm just playing it safe. You never underestimate a guy wearing a gamer hat.
That's it, they should let you put that on Classic as well, that'd be amazing.
No, I want to make America great again hat.
Oh, Jesus, yes. Make the Resistance great again. That'd work.
Make Sonic's world great again, because they don't want to say Mobius, you know? I should have said that to begin with. Jesus, Tom. What, HellfireComms has really gone downhill in the joke department recently.
No, that would imply that it was ever good in the joke department.
Oh, I think I made him skip a step. Nice.
So yeah, HellfireComms was never good, then, you know.
Yeah. Oh, well. Never mind.
How is this taking you so long? God damn it.
Shut up.
You've done the unthinkable. You've spent more than 2 minutes in a Sonic Forces level.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can actually talk about the fucking thing now. It's easy. It's underwhelming. Sonic Forces in a nutshell, really.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
There. Die.
Thank you. Got to have the dramatic death because, of course. Why was that a fucking MS Paint spray can?
I know, it
explosion?
looked terrible. Come on.
It does, like, and this is one of the things that most of the
I still got an S!
Oh my god! But like I was saying, like, most of the visual effects, particularly for fire and that, actually look really good in this game. Like in the modern stages when you're like homing attack chaining the things, or if you like using the burst wisp as the avatar, like most of them actually look really smooth animation wise, but it's just that one that really sticks out to me as it's just such a obvious flat layer over a 3D background.
Aknon coming in! Bang! Wow. Eggman dead. I'm laughing.
I like how Tails is just like, yay, we did it! We? Who is this we, Tails? You did absolute sweet sod all.
Tails is over here yucking it up while people are like dying of dehydration in a fucking concentration camp.
Pretty much, yeah.
3 days? And what plan?
If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise.
I'm surprised Tails is so out of the loop with this. Like, I get that they had the sort of story point of, like, he was traumatised after Sonic got beat and he was, like, keeping to himself. But, like, the kind of character Tails has always been, I would have thought that, like, he would have at least kept his eye on things. Because, like, if you compare to, like, last time, he thought Sonic had died, like, in, like, during the actual plot itself, like in SA2, where he initially went to fight Eggman, like, just to kind of get revenge. And yes, that avatar looks amazing.
I get you. I smell what you're stepping in. I'll even say that I like the whole Tails hanging around with classic Sonic thing. We got a little bit of that in Generations. They fleshed it out here. If only classic had more to do with the story than nothing at all. Because, well, it's not strictly related to classic himself, but just due to the fact that, you know, the avatar character uses like a chain. and such, and kind of has similar proportions to Sonic Boom Sonic, I think it's kind of obvious what they were planning in the first place before, Boom, ironically, went boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I am glad that they didn't use that, if only because I absolutely fucking despise Sonic Boom Sonic's design. Like, and yes, I will say that I have no shame in saying it's because of the blue arms. They look amateur as fuck. Where, compared to, like, Modern Sonic, or now they let us create our own monstrosity to replace him with, so that works so much better.
That's a very harsh language, monstrosity. I'd call it an abomination, personally.
Annoyingly, I would respond to that by saying that he's also cute and fluffy, but he is neither of those things at the present moment in time, and therefore it would be entirely inaccurate.
No, he's got his fucking green latex suit, which probably panders to a certain portion of the fan base, just saying.
You, basically.
Hey, I don't like latex furries, okay?
Yes, you do.
Just saying. The fucking things I have to clarify, thanks. But yeah, this level as an Avatar stage is okay. I think it sort of loses its luster when you consider that so much of this is just flat out reused when Sonic comes here.
Oh yeah, that's kind of shameful, actually. Jesus.
Because like for most of the other time, because like they have a setup where like all the characters go to their own variants of the different like worlds, like the city, the the Death Egg, all that sort of shit. But this one is basically the same arena. You can tell like they've obviously adapted it so you can boost through it rather than do all this swinging around sort of shit for it. But you can just see the reused set pieces.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can see that. I think this was the first bit of Avatar music we got, wasn't it?
Yes, I remember that, and that was quite a divisive song. If I remember when that first went up on the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, take 'em out. This is justice. This is what's right.
Destiny in the fucking auto-tune voice, which is
Oh
something.
wow, I didn't even know that was there. Dope.
Oh yeah, I think I ended up on that route by accident during one of my runs.
Slow grinding, and I think we're done here.
We are, but we've got to have that like long Generations 3DSX stretch of nothing at the end, because of course we have. Look at him in his little Crocs and his gamer cap.
I'm changing this after. I refuse to wear, among many things, Crocs. Okay, look at those like war honours I've received.
Okay, so if you're replacing the Crocs, you better wait until we get the duck feet.
No.
No.
Oh, them! The Dio shoes, do it!
Oh yeah, Kono Avatar da!
Excuse me, they're not the Dio shoes, they are Excalibur Sonic shoes. Thank you very much.
Yes, I know what they're going for, but they look like Dio shoes.
Honestly, they should have had more of like Sonic's friends as costume pieces, because there's not nearly enough. You can get a shirt with like Amy's face on it, that's all I've unlocked so far. Christ, I need to get into that dressing room ASAP. But there's like, for female characters, there's no like Blaze, there's no Rouge for male characters, there's no like Tails, there's no... I'm not even sure if you can get like Infinite's outfit.
I don't think you can. It would be a cool like little post-game thing if you could get your avatar running around with Infinite's mask.
Yes, that would be quite cool. So, in terms of outfits, I know that it is possible to get Amy's dress.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's definitely one of the unlockables. But other than that, there isn't really much. Like, I think the only outfit-related thing that you can unlock is Shadow if you beat Episode Shadow, and that's basically a lot.
Disgusting.
Go on the Dio shoes, you know you want to.
Where are they? Here they are.
Yes.
Huh, don't look too bad actually. Although I think I need to change the gloves.
I would agree.
I'm disappointed you didn't replace the green bodysuit with the bright pink one though.
Well, you can just eat my entire ass, thank you very much.
Oh, the cowboy hat.
You want the cowboy hat on?
Nah, let's keep gamer.
Really?
No, cowboy hats all the way.
Actually, yeah, I'm cool with the cowboy hat. Go with the cowboy hat.
Cool, this is our new phase. Cowboy punk Excalibur Sonic.
Yeah.